stepson's ashes that were given, and then I broke the urn. However, the 11...
And now you've got this one.
In your eyes, in the court's eyes, and police...
And you're a violent person.
You need to stop.
I'm being tortured here in his jail.
Counseling for him to continue with his treatment with regaining his cancer as well as for alcohol. He would like any necessary help with regard to those. Additionally, Your Honor, with regard to Mr. Fisher, he previously was a radiology technician. He's retired now and ultimately going through this diagnosis in any which way form he is. He is going through, I believe, 2 pain management because of the chronic pain as well. Your Honor, we're just asking for any type of leniency with regard to this matter in front of you and consider him for community control. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Fisher, what do you want to tell me?
A lot, but how do you want me to start?
However you want.
Well, I do take responsibility for my actions. Like I told you in the statement, I didn't know that it was an offense to destroy your own property.
What do you mean?
What?
What do you mean?
Well, the property damage, I spread my stepson's ashes that were given to me in a golf-size ceramic, I guess you call it a very small urn, okay? And I spread the ashes and then I broke the urn because you're not supposed to reuse them on another person, so why have it? And just throw it out, someone else might use it. And you shouldn't let them do that either. So I really didn't think it out because I didn't know my wife would get so upset about it.
Gee, imagine that.
Well, because about a year before that, we went to the lake, Erie, and threw out a lot more ashes than I did. And I put our ashes in our garden, our front garden bed. And she put it in the water, and I said, he doesn't even like fishing. I try to get him fishing a lot. And she goes, well, yeah, but he liked driving the boat. I go, of course he did. He was 8 to 10 years old. Any 10-year-old would like to drive a boat. So she got me on that one. I should have talked to her beforehand. It was Halloween, one of his favorite holidays. And it's not my wife's favorite because she thinks it's more of a devil thing than an All Saints Day. But I didn't take that in consideration because...
Well, so let me ask you about that, because you took the ashes, threw them in the yard, then got the leaf blower to make sure they were blowing all over the yard.
No, not the yard.
Wait.
Okay.
And you said it was done in order to teach her a lesson.
No.
What lesson were you teaching her?
Teaching who?
Loretta.
No lesson.
Well, why did you say that?
Who?
You said that to the Willoughby police.
I don't know. Can you ask her?
No, you said that to the Willoughby police. You said that you
say
did it in order to teach her a lesson.
I said that to the Willoughby police?
Yeah.
Oh my. I don't know what lesson.
See, you're...
What?
You're pretty violent.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm a saint, no.
No, I'm not saying you're a saint either. I'm saying you're violent.
Not real violent.
Well, violent. Okay, you kind of use the sliding scale you want, but...
I'm not a fighting violent guy.
Well...
I'm too sick to do that.
You're pretty abusive to Loretta.
I have been, yes. I can't deny that. She's been abusive to me, too. It's a two-way street.
Well, it's a one-way street right now.
Well, yeah. I guess whoever calls first.
Well, okay.
But
well,
she didn't even call.
Who called first in September of 2011?
The kids.
For the assault.
The kids.
The kids. And what did I give you then?
They were on heroin.
Okay.
What?
Okay, listen.
What? I'm sorry, Your Honor.
One of the things you told me is you accept responsibility, and you've done everything since then to evade responsibility.
I do not.
You got a menacing in 2010. You got a assault, felony, and domestic violence misdemeanor here. in September of 11. In September of 12, in Cuyahoga County, you got an assault F4 and a misdemeanor domestic violence. In August of 18, here, you've got a domestic violence felony 4. Is that a surprise to you?
Well, now that you mention it, it's not, but,
Okay. And now
However,
you got-
the 11
And now you've got this one.
all right.
So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 altogether. So you're violent.
Okay, I agree. Wait, 10 to 25. It's 15 years, right? It's not a terrible track record,
Well, it's terrible. It's a terrible track record.
I guess.
It's a terrible track record. And you seem to get worse as you go, because you were, of course, on this one, you didn't touch her, right? You know what you said?
I tapped her.
Tapped her. How'd you tap her?
You know, when you're tapping someone's tushy, butt, they have, battissimo.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to wake her up. She was snoring so loud. We both drank that day. But it wasn't even on Halloween when I got arrested. See, I'm not taking responsibility. I'm explaining how things happen. Reasons. Now, I tapped her, and on a third time, she woke up. But see, she didn't call the police. So I didn't hit her. Now, someone said I hit her on the hip. The hip is nowhere near your butt. I mean, it's on the side, but it's more
Kinda.
interior. Kind of, but not really.
Interpretation, like I said.
Yeah, she's expressed to you that she's afraid of you because you got mental health problems, you
I
drink a
do.
lot, and you get angry, and you get out of control.
Yes, sir.
You call her some pretty vile names.
I have.
Yeah.
In lieu of physical violence, I do get verbal. I do apologize for that, and I am not denying that at all. Matter of fact, I'm more verbal for sure.
But why did you plead guilty to this attempted domestic violence?
Oh, I'm
If
sorry.
you didn't do it?
Do what?
The offense?
It's very difficult to say. I mean, I thought that you can say you're guilty of anything if you get worded it the right way. Yeah, I tapped her, so I touched her. So, in your eyes, in the court's eyes, and police eyes,
And you were here for the plea, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you recited the facts, did you say that with the facts to support the conviction as he touched her on the tushy?
I did not, Your Honor.
I didn't think so, because then I would have said, then what are we doing here? This isn't a domestic violence.
why? That's what I did, though. I don't get it. You want me to tell the truth and then, all right.
You wouldn't know the truth if it came up and bit you in the
Now,
ass.
that's not fair. That is not fair, sir.
But it's true.
Okay,
it's
Your
true.
Honor. This is what I mean. Interpretation, right?
How do I interpret this that you said that was caught on video? Fuck you and the horse you rode in on that you said to Loretta. How does that get interpreted?
When did I say this?
You didn't say that?
I can't recall, but I may have.
Yeah.
I am verbally abusive. I did admit that. Now, thank God there's no beam here.
What?
You know, I really am in a lot of pain, so it's hard for me to concentrate. I didn't hit her, and I admit to tapping her. If you want to call that domestic violence, then it's domestic violence. It's all how you interpret the action.
What were the facts?
What words did I use?
What were the facts that were
swear to God I
the
didn't
basis of the guilty plea that he agreed that he did?
Your Honor, the facts in this case are that the defendant, several days prior to throwing the urn with the victim's dead son's ashes in it and using the leaf blower on it, he had struck her multiple times in the hip. She has had multiple back surgeries, and she was laying in bed, and he struck her several times, causing her pain.
Okay.
I don't know how I would have said that.
And so then when Ms. Himmeline recited that as the facts, at the time of the guilty plea, I asked you if you heard what Ms. Himmeline said the facts would show if the case went to trial. You indicated yes, and I asked you, was that true? And you said yes, and then you pled guilty.
True.
That's how we did it, because that's how I do it every single time.
I admitted to hitting her several times on her hip.
You admitted that what Ms. Himmeline said was accurate.
What she just said, you admitted to.
What did she say?
You didn't hear what she said?
Kind of, but
She struck her.
struck
Pushed
her.
her.
I
Yes.
used the word struck, not tap.
She used it, and that's what happened in the change of plea.
Well, then,
That's why
I was mistaken there. I'm sorry. Again, I'm in a lot of pain.
And I would take responsibility
Okay,
at this time.
so what you want me to do is to release you right now.
Sorry?
I said, what you want me to do is to release you right now, and you don't want to be on probation.
No, I could take any punishment you would like to give me. I just didn't want the expenditure of the whatever you call those ankle monitors. And as sick as I am, I'd like to be able to take all the medicine I'm prescribed. And actually, I'm going to go into pulmonary care, and they give you really strong medicine.
Where?
Where? What? When I get it. When I go.
When you go where?
To the I can't read.
Palliative?
Jail,
Yeah.
palliative care.
Where?
It hasn't been, it's getting set up now in
Set up by who?
Dr. Spanner, the jail doctor. Because it took 3 months to see him, he would have done it many months ago. But they refused to let me see him. I know it sounds,
Untrue, that's what it sounds.
but it is definitely true, and I have,
The jail refused you the ability to see this doctor?
yeah. They always made me see Gina, the PA. Now I have several kites to them stating that, and they said, you see who we want you to see.
And January 26th, you refused to go to your medical appointment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even Dr. Spanner said, how come you refuse the test? And I say, I'm in so much pain, they won't give me anything to get through the test, and I have to wear these shackles, and it's not fair, so I refuse to do the test.
Monday, January 12th, you had been in lockdown because of you acting up at the jail, but you were scheduled to be transported to the hospital the morning of the 12th, but refused. And refused to sign a medical treatment refusal form.
I did do that. I did refuse to sign the refusal form, but did I go to the one on the 7th or something?
I'm talking about the 12th.
Well, I rescheduled it, and they did not do the NPO. I couldn't take a shower, and I couldn't And by the way, I did slip on the 12/28, I slipped on water and hurt myself more. So yeah, I was in a lot more pain, and they said I was maxed out on the medicine, and so I just said I have to refuse. I can't. They want me to do a test, and I'm not able to do the test. I know what the test entails, so I'm being honest with them, and they're like, tough it out. And I'm like, easy for you to say, you know? I'm just being honest with people. I will say, if you mind, the coordinator has been very upset with me ever since she said, you're not going to get this pain medicine you want here in jail. And I ultimately got it, even though it was half the dose that I was supposed to get. And ever since then, she has not been very, her patient care to me non-exists. At least, and he chose to shove me instead of pull out the taser and said, if you don't get in your cell, I'm going to tase you. Now that would have been, to me, I'm sorry if I'm acting like I know what they should do. I'm trying to make someone do what something. But if you don't think he, excessive force, I don't know what is. He has both things. Pepper spray and a taser. They're not just for show, I hope. You know, I guess I'm just in too much pain to concentrate on what I really should say.
I don't think you should say anything more.
Then if you're that bad off medically, why do you refuse to go to appointments?
Sir, I try to, all right, let me explain. This, and that's why Dr. Spanner said, boy, if I would have saw you sooner, this what's it called? Care?
Palliative care?
Palliative care. He would have given it to me if he knew. See that PET scan that he my doctor wants, he'll get it. It doesn't have to be while I'm in jail, and it doesn't have to be...
Well, you are in jail, and you were supposed to go to the hospital for an appointment on the 12th.
I'm explaining to you, I'm in too much pain to go through the test first, and second, it's only to tell me that I need radiation therapy and chemotherapy, which neither one am I interested in doing. If I only have 2 years to live, I'd rather not suffer that long living it. I'd rather not do it and be like I am now in pain and not suffering with vomiting, projectile, or diarrhea so bad that I have to have a pad on my bed so that my wife could just clean up the pad instead of having a whole mattress to worry about.
Where is it you think you're going to live if you get out?
I think I'm going to live with my sister now.
Well,
she has a bed.
My concern about you is you're a violent person.
Especially not when I drink, and I'm not drinking.
Well, you're not drinking now because you've been in jail.
I've decided drinking is not my friend. It hasn't been, and I just haven't admitted it. And when I was in rehab from 2018, I had a 3-year sobriety, and you do remember the CBD thing.
There's been so many CBD things that I can't remember it's specific to you.
Well, you wanted me to say it was marijuana, and I said, AA said it was CBD that I can use and not marijuana, and I listened to them, and I had a marijuana card, and you said, well, where did you get that from? Since October 31st.
Okay. And you're a violent person who doesn't seem to think what you've done is wrong, other than use abusive language. And you're a danger when you're out there. You're a danger to your wife, specifically. And you seem to be a rather nasty person, quite frankly. So I'm not sure why I should not give you a prison sentence.
You could, I knew I won't.
And I'm telling you, you will.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, okay.
Don't.
Oh, come on, he's
Stop.
wrong.
You need to stop.
I'm being tortured here in his
You
jail.
need to stop.
Ms. Himmeline?
Put me away forever.
Thank you,
I
Your Honor.
deserve it.
The state is,
Tap on the butt.
You need to stop.
the state is not oblivious to the defendant's age, his cancer diagnosis, and mental health struggles. However, the defendant in the past has self-medicated these issues with alcohol, and as the court has indicated, he becomes violent. So these considerations do not negate the need to protect the victim in this case or the community from the defendant. His conduct in this case was deliberate, targeted, and cruel to teach Loretta a lesson. He knew the significance of her son's ashes to her, and he threw them and then took a leaf blower to blow them around to weaponize her pain and grief. And this comes several days after he had struck her multiple times on the hip because he was upset with her, and to maximize the pain that he inflicted after she has had multiple back surgeries. The defendant's physical and emotional violence in this case is not a symptom of his illness, his age, or his struggles. His actions are indicative of his desire to control, intimidate, and punish his wife. As the court has alluded, the defendant has multiple prior convictions for violent offenses, including domestic violence, the most recent being against his wife. The domestic violence has occurred in front of his wife's granddaughter, who lives in her home and who is a minor child. And not only has the victim's granddaughter observed the violence in the past, but she's had to call the police on the defendant. And the defendant, in one of the instances leading up to the offense in this case, had threatened to take his own life and to take his wife with him. The defendant indicated during his interviews that he doesn't want probation, he doesn't want treatment, he doesn't want monitoring, and he doesn't want any conditions of any kind. He just wants to go home, but that's not realistic. For all of these reasons, the state does request that the court impose a prison sentence in this case. Thank you.
Nicole, she mentioned the stabbing. How come?
What was that?
How come she's not mentioning that my granddaughter threatened to stab me while I was sleeping?
When was this?
What?
What are you talking about?
Did you say that you were going to kill yourself and take Loretta with you?
No,
You never said that.
I don't believe I did.
Okay.
I do remember my granddaughter threatening me to stab me while I was sleeping.
All right. All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report, the victim impact statement, the letter from Mr. Fisher, and I have considered all the factors that surround Mr. Fisher, including his diagnoses. I've also considered the record, his past record, his penchant for violence, his statements that he's made in relation to his wife. I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. You have clearly indicated that you won't comply with the terms of probation. So I'm going to find you're not amenable to community control. I'm going to sentence you to 12 months in prison with credit for 104 days, and the costs are assessed. Anything further, Ms. Himmeline?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Novotny?
No, Your Honor.
Great.
All right, we're adjourned.
All rise.
Go this way.